Hello students, today we are reading class 7th Geography lesson 4 Air, and the important topics which we are going to cover in this lesson are composition of earth, structure of atmosphere, weather and climate. Let us start. Composition of earth. Do you know that the air we take in, means whatever air we breathe in while breathing, is actually a mixture of many gases? As you can see in this picture, 78% is nitrogen in the environment and 21% is oxygen, and other gases are 0.04% only. It means very less in quantity, and the maximum number is of nitrogen, thereafter oxygen, and carbon dioxide is also 0.03. So in other gases, what all gases are included? They are helium, ozone, argon and hydrogen. Nitrogen is the most plentiful gas in the air, and bacteria that live in the soil and roots of some plants, whenever you will see some plants and you just drag it out from the soil, you will see it always have many insects, bacteria which live inside the soil, and some of them which we cannot see with our eyes. For them we need a microscope. So what those bacteria they do, they take nitrogen from the air and change its form so that plants can use it. Because plants cannot take nitrogen directly from the air. When we inhale, we take some amount of nitrogen into our lungs and exhale it. Oxygen is the second most plentiful gas in the atmosphere, and humans and animals both take oxygen from the air for breathing, as it is the most important gas for human beings. And green plants produce oxygen during photosynthesis. These are the plants and they produce oxygen during the photosynthesis, and this oxygen is being taken by the human being, and human being also, while they exhale out, means when they release the gas or the air from their nose or mouth, they exhale CO2, and that CO2 is taken by the plants. Carbon dioxide is another important gas, and green plants use carbon dioxide to make their food, and that's why they release oxygen. See, they also have small holes on this lower surface of these leaves, and those holes are known as stomata. Just like we have two holes in our nose, those are known as nostrils, from where we breathe in, from where we breathe oxygen in. And similarly, plants also have small holes on these leaves from where they take in carbon dioxide. The amount of carbon dioxide released by human or animals seem to be equal to the amount used by the plants, which make a perfect balance. It means whatever we release, means we human beings release CO2, and that is taken by the plants, and similarly plants release oxygen, which is taken by the human beings, and this way it becomes the balance of both the gases, means both the gases always remain in the balanced position. Suppose there are no plants on the earth, then what will happen? We will not get oxygen to breathe. And suppose there are no animals and human beings on the earth, then what will happen? Plants will also not get carbon dioxide to take in, and there will be a lot of oxygen in the air, and plants will also not survive. So human or animals who release carbon dioxide, it helps plants to make their food. The balance is upset by burning of fuels such as coal and oil. But sometimes what happens, these things like fuels means firewood or coal or oil, when we burn them, they also release a lot of carbon dioxide, and thus it adds billions of tons of CO2 into the atmosphere each year. CO2 is the scientific name of carbon dioxide. As a result, the increased volume of CO2 is affecting the Earth's weather and climate. So as you can see that more number of means maximum number of CO2 in the air is also not good for the environment. Carbon dioxide released in the atmosphere creates a greenhouse effect by trapping the heat radiated from the earth. It is therefore called a greenhouse gas, and without it, the earth would have been too cold to live in. See, this is our earth and this is our environment means where all atmosphere means where all the gases they exist, and beyond this environment, beyond this atmosphere, there is outer space, and here it is greenhouse effect means what happens, this atmosphere it traps all the heat, means what happens when this sun rays are falling on the earth, the sun rays makes earth warmer, and those warmth, those heat, this is being trapped inside the earth's atmosphere only because of these various gases, means trapped means अंदर ही फंसे रह जाना, that is trapped. So this heat is being trapped inside the earth's atmosphere, and that's why we feel warm on the earth. If these gases will not be there, then what will happen, all the sun's rays, whatever warmth it will make on the earth, this warmth will go out in the space, and then we will feel too cold to live on the earth. Do you know, when greenhouse effect level in the atmosphere increases due to factory smoke or car fumes, the heat retained increases the temperature of the earth, and this is called global warming. Means when more and more carbon dioxide is there and more other gases are present there in the atmosphere, then what happened, more of the sun's warmth, more of the sun's energy is trapped inside the earth, and which makes our environment more warmer. And you know, a perfect warmer is okay, but more than a normal warmth, that is not good for human being, because it makes our world very hot also, and that hotness is known as global warming. And the rise in temperature causes the snow in the coldest part of the world to melt. Then what will happen, if the temperature of the earth will increase, all the glaciers they will melt, and you know glaciers are the source of rivers, and if all the glaciers they will melt on the same time, then we will not have the rivers throughout the year, where we will get water from. And if all the glaciers will melt, then what will happen, the level of the sea will also rise, because all the water it will go into the sea, and the level of the sea water it will increase, and when the sea water will increase, then the coastal areas, means the areas which are near the sea, they have the fear of getting drowned into the sea. And you know, Maldives is such an island, Maldives or Mauritius, one of it is, which is going to get drowned in the sea in coming 10 or 20 years just because of the global warming. So what will happen to the people who are living over there? We are finishing almost entire country. So this is not good. So we should not pollute our atmosphere or the world. As you can see in this picture, this is the picture of 1803, and this is actual and the real picture. And these mountains, see, they are covered with huge layer of ice, but in 2015 only few scattered and very minimum ice you can see in the picture. This is because of the global warming. Structure of atmosphere. The first layer of the earth, that is known as troposphere. The atmosphere has been divided into various spheres, and let us know about those spheres. As you can see, this is Mount Everest, which is 8864 meter high, and up to this height it is known as troposphere, and it is 13 kilometer from the ground level. Okay, and it contains air, fog, climate, rainfall, weather, everything exists here only. Thereafter comes troposphere, and it is up to 50 kilometer from this land level. 50 kilometer it is up to here. The height is too much from that of troposphere, and it is cloud free, means there are no clouds, no rainfall, and this is perfect for flying aeroplanes, and it also contains ozone layer. Next is mesosphere. It is up to 80 kilometer, and meteors which falls from the universe, and when they fall towards the earth, and here they burns in this layer. Next is thermosphere. Thermosphere is about up to 400 kilometer, and it helps in radio transmission. Radio transmission means when all the radio stations which are situated on this surface of the earth, they send their waves. This sphere, it sends back those rays, and thus the transmission of the radio, it take place. And the last sphere is exosphere. It is the outermost sphere, and it contains thin air, and helium and hydrogen gases are present in this sphere. Okay, so let us once more revise: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and last one is exosphere, means exit. Next is weather. Weather is this hour to hour, day to day condition of the atmosphere. Means when we say what is the temperature of Dehradun or any particular place at the current moment, then we will say it is 28 degrees Celsius. Suppose, just take an example, okay? And thereafter by next hour means hour to hour means when we wake up in the morning, means 5 o'clock, the temperature is almost 17 degrees Celsius, and during the daytime means 12 o'clock of the noon, the temperature it rises up to 32 degrees Celsius, and again in the night it falls down to 18 or 20 degrees Celsius. So if you can see the variation of the temperature, it is changing 3 to 4 times in a single day. So if the temperature changes this much frequently, this is known as weather, and again it changes from day to day. As you can see in this picture that on Friday temperature is 31 degrees Celsius, and on Saturday it is 33, Sunday it is on 31. So temperature keeps changing. Such temperature is known as weather. The average weather condition of a place, but for a longer period of time. It represents the climate of a place. Means when we say what is the temperature, means what is the climate of the Ooty, or what is the climate of the Shimla, what is the climate of the Srinagar, then we know that the climate of the Srinagar is mostly cold most of the time. And when we talk about Jaipur or Udaipur or Gujarat, the most of the time these areas remain hot. So the longer period of the temperature, longer period of the weather condition is known as climate. Next is temperature. The degree of hotness and coldness of the air is known as temperature. And temperature also changes from day to night and season to season. Means if the temperature is 36 degree during the daytime, then it falls to 15 degree at night time. And season to season means if the temperature is very high during the summer time, means it goes up to 40 degrees Celsius. Then in winter time also it comes down up to -2 to 5 degrees Celsius. Insolation, an important factor that influence the distribution of temperature is insolation. Now what is insolation? Insolation is the incoming solar energy intercepted by the earth. Solar means sun. So whatever energy, whatever light we are getting and receiving, means whatever light is being received by the earth, that is known as insolation. Next, the amount of insolation decreases from equator towards the pole. And why does this happen? Because the sun's ray, they fall very straight on the equator. As you know, this equator is an imaginary line on which the sun always shines brightly. But when the sun's rays, they fall on the poles, they become slanting. And when the sun's rays become slanting, this area gets less heat of the sun. And that's why these equatorial area, they are receiving more amount of the insolation, and they are the more hotter than the polar region. And polar region, they are receiving less amount of sun's ray, that's why they are cold. Temperature in cities is much higher than that of villages. It is very obvious because the concrete and the metals in building, you can see this is known as concrete, or the stones which these buildings are made up of, they are known as concrete. And the asphalt of roads, this is most of the time you must have heard the word damar. Damar is used to make the road. So when you walk on these roads during the summer time barefoot, you cannot even step on these roads. They become so hot. But when there are no roads, only you have to walk on the mud. Mud means soil. Then you don't feel this much hot, and you can walk on the mud barefoot, means without having your slippers. So this is the difference between cities and villages. In villages, most of the time they don't have pakka road, metal road they don't have, they have the kacha road, so they receive less heat of the sun. And temperature in cities is higher than that of the villages. As you can see, this is one scene of the village where there are no such high tall buildings, no web of roads. Everywhere the soil is seen. So these areas, they have trees also. So trees give the shadow also. So just because of trees and greeneries and less roads and less buildings, it absorbs less heat, and that's why this area remains cool. Do you know the standard unit of measuring temperature is called degrees Celsius, because it was invented by Anders Celsius. On the Celsius scale, the water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius and boils at 100 degrees Celsius. You will be surprised to know that the earth receives only one part in this many parts of the sun's energy. If we divide sun's energy into this many parts, then it means we are receiving only one part of the sun's energy, which is good for us, which is very balancing for us. What will happen suppose we will receive two parts of the sun's energy? Can you imagine? The earth will burn. Air pressure. Air above us presses us with a great force on our bodies. Have you ever gone for swimming? So when you dive under the water, you feel a lot of water on your body. So that water puts pressure on your body. Similarly, there is a pressure of air on our body when we are outside the water, when we are standing on the earth. But we don't feel this pressure. You know why? Because the air presses us from all directions, and our body also exerts, means puts a counter pressure. As you can see, the most dense air is nearer to the earth. As we go above, the air becomes thin, and in this region only, means the region or the area which is nearer to the earth, they have the more particles of various gases. And when we have lot of gases, it means they are putting lot of pressure on us. But when we go towards the space, there are less gases, means less pollution is there. That's why gases are also less, and so the pressure is also less. The air pressure is highest at sea level and decreases with height. Now you know why? Air pressure is influenced by temperature of air at a given place. Low pressure area. What are they? In areas where temperature is high, the air gets heated and rises. Getting it? It means where hot areas like Rajasthan or Gujarat or Delhi or Haryana, they will make an area of low pressure, because when these areas are too hot, then what happens? All the air, it becomes heated up. Okay, and when the things get heated up, they rises up. Whenever you boil water, what happens? All the boil, it changes into vapor, and that vapor all disappears in the atmosphere, means all the vapor has gone into the air or above. And similarly, the areas which are hot, they makes the air also hot, and when the air becomes hot, it starts rising up and it goes up. And when the air goes up, there is no air near the earth, so it means there is low pressure. Okay, that's why hot areas are having the low pressure areas, and the opposite will be high pressure areas. In the areas where the atmosphere is cool, like Ladakh, Jammu Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh, all the time the weather is cold. So what will happen? The gas will not get heated up, so all the gas will remain near the earth's surface. And when the gas will near the earth's surface, then what will happen? It will put more pressure on the human body. So the cold areas are having high pressure areas, and high pressure is also associated with clear and sunny skies. The air always moves from high pressure areas to low pressure areas. Getting the point? Means air will always move from Ladakh to Delhi, or Himachal Pradesh to Gujarat or Rajasthan. Do you know, on the moon there is no air? You all know, hence no air pressure. When there is air, then only pressure is being felt. But when there is no air, no pressure is felt. Astronauts also have to wear special protective space suits, which is all filled with air when they go to the moon. If they did not wear these space suits, the counter pressure exerted by the body of the astronauts, which would make the blood vessels burst. The astronaut would bleed. Now next is wind. The movement of air from high pressure areas to low pressure area is called wind. You cannot see wind, but you can feel the wind, because when it works, all the trees and all the plants, they start moving their branches or the leaves. Next is wind. Wind can be broadly divided into three types. Number one is permanent wind. The trade winds, westerlies and easterlies are the permanent winds. These blow throughout the air in a particular direction. Next is seasonal winds. These winds change their direction in different seasons. For example, in monsoon in India. Next is local winds. These blow only during a particular period of a day or a year in small areas. For examples, land and sea bridges. An example is Loo also, which is felt in northern India during summertime. Do you know, a wind is named after the direction from which it blows. Example, the wind blowing from the west is called westerly. In the earlier lesson also you have known that the meridian divides the world into two portions, that is known as Eastern Hemisphere or the Western Hemisphere. So Asia and Africa, almost half of the Africa, it lies in the Eastern Hemisphere, and both the continents of America, they lies in the Western Hemisphere. So the wind which is coming from west means America or Europe towards India or the China, that wind will be known as westerly. So all these blue arrows, they are representing western lies. Moisture. What is moisture? When water evaporates from land and different water bodies, it becomes water vapor, which is known as moisture. Even when you will boil your water and your whatever lid you are placing on the pan, if you remove that lid from the pan, you will see a lot of small droplets of the water. That water droplet is known as moisture. And what is humidity? Moisture in the air anytime is known as humidity. And when the air is full of water vapor, we call it a humid day. And on a humid day, it becomes very difficult for us to dry the clothes outside, because the complete atmosphere is filled with the small water vapors. And you know, when there is water vapor in the atmosphere, then how will our clothes, they will get dry? To dry the clothes, we need a clear atmosphere. Precipitation. When the water vapor rises, it starts cooling, not near the earth. When it goes far above the earth, then there is, temperature is cool, the far we will go from the earth. So when it rises up, the all water vapor, they started cooling down. And when the things start cooling down, they start condensing. Condensing means joining together, and so then they forms the clouds. All the water droplets, they come together and they form a cloud. So cloud is a means group of various and millions of water droplets. And when these droplets of water, means when these clouds, they become too heavy, then they fall on the earth in the form of water or the rain, which is also known as precipitation. Jet planes flying in the sky, they leave a white trail. Trail means way. You must have seen it most of the time in the sky. We also wonder what this white line is. Actually, that white line is being made by the jet planes, and that is the moisture which is coming out of their engines. Rainfall, precipitation that comes down on the earth in the liquid form, that is known as rain. Most of the groundwater, it comes from rainwater. All the rainwater, it is being absorbed by the soil, and deep inside the soil it goes and known as groundwater. Plants help preserve water. All the plants, see, they help to preserve water. When trees on hillsides are cut, rainwater flows down the bare mountain. See, in the earlier picture you have seen there are a lot of trees. That's why soil erosion is not taking place. Why? Because the roots of these trees, they are holding the soil. But when we cut the tree, there is nothing which can hold the soil. So whenever it rains on this surface, all the water is being washed away by the rain, and all the soil is being washed away by the water, and all these very important soil, it goes into the sea. Soil is also very important for us. Other forms of precipitation are snow, sleet, and hail. Now, what is difference between hail and sleet? Hail is formed during summer time mostly. जब ओले पड़ते हैं, ओले you must have seen, they only fell only during the summer time. But sleet is formed during winter. Both falls from the sky. They precipitate down to earth. But the difference is that sleet starts as snowflakes, then melts to form water droplets, but on subsequently passing cold air in the sky, it refreezes into small ice pellets. On the basis of mechanism, there are three types of rainfall. First is known as conventional rainfall. Second is known as relief rainfall or orographic rainfall, and the third is cyclonic rainfall. Rainfall is very important for the survival of plants and animals. It brings fresh water to the earth's surface. If rainfall is less, water scarcity and drought occur. As you can see, this is the example of drought. Drought means sukha, and this is the absence of rainfall. When there's no rainfall, the trees, they will also get dried up. You can see there is one skeleton of some animal. This was some forest. So this animal also has been died because of the lack of the water. Poor animal. And if water or rainfall is more, then also it is not good for the earth because it brings flood, and flood makes all the houses, villages and towns get drowned. Thank you, and like and subscribe our channel, that is Wow Education.